What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Omar Marmoush to Liverpool transfer update video where we will talk about what Marmoush said about a potential January transfer away from Frankfurt, and also we will have a massive injury updates before the Liverpool-Man United game concerning Joe Gomez, Konate and Conor Bradley, and we will take a look at how Frankfurt is doing in the Bundesliga and how Marmoush is doing this season and why Liverpool are targeting him as a potential long-term Salah replacement. But I think Marmoush is mainly a striker, and Liverpool are linked with selling Darwin Núñez to AC Milan. Recently Núñez liked a post from AC Milan showing him in an AC Milan shirt. So what do you think about that? Do you think Liverpool should sell Núñez and maybe replace Núñez with Marmoush? And Marmoush made it clear to Frankfurt what he wants to happen in the January transfer window when Arsenal and Liverpool are circling around him. And Graham Bailey, who is a chief football correspondent, he said that sources close to Frankfurt are saying that Marmoush is firmly focused on delivering Champions League football to Frankfurt, and they do not believe that Marmoush will push for a transfer in January. I think what Marmoush wants to do is help Frankfurt qualify for Champions League, and then he can leave for a relatively moderate transfer fee in the summer after he helped Frankfurt achieve Champions League football. And by the way, shout out to my Irish subscribers. I got this when I was in Dublin like 12 years ago, and I love the Ireland national team, a football national team as well, and Kevin Kelleher is their first choice goalkeeper, so I'm representing Kelleher with this shirt as well. So Frankfurt are currently in third place in the Bundesliga, but between third and 11th there is only 6 points between the teams, which at almost the halfway stage of the season is nothing. So it's very tight and compact in the Bundesliga table, and Omar Marmoush is having the best season of his career. His numbers are absolutely incredible. He has 18 goals and 12 assists in 24 appearances, so he's pretty close to Mo Salah's numbers when it comes to goals and assists, and he's currently the second top scorer in the Bundesliga with 13 goals in 15 games. Harry Kane is 1 goal ahead of him, but he's playing for a much more dominant Bayern team. And this is what he said about, the transfer speculation and his immediate future. There's always a lot of speculation on the outside, but I don't actually have a particular dream goal, he told the German publication Bild newspaper. What I can promise the fans is that I will give my all for Eintracht Frankfurt in every game. I'm not thinking about the transfer right now. I'm living in the here and now and enjoying my time in Frankfurt. Eintracht believed in me and put their trust in me. I want to repay that trust with good performances and goals, and what happens in the distant future doesn't interest me right now. I want to continue to do my best so that at the end of the season we can say as a team we have achieved something big. And that's the level of Frankfurt, that if they even qualify for the Champions League, that's a big, huge achievement from Frankfurt, because they are not regularly in the Champions League. They are actually in the last few years a Europa League team, and it is believed that Marmoush could be available for around 42 to 51 million pounds with his current contract expiring in 2027. So Frankfurt probably needs to sell him this summer if they want to get the maximum transfer fee for him, because after this summer his contract will go down to just 1 year, and then with 1 year left on his contract usually clubs get the player on a discount. And Arsenal are also looking at him, so Liverpool need to be careful not to delay, approaching Marmoush too much, even though right now we don't need an attacker, we don't need a striker, because we have 6 attackers. Chiesa is coming back into full fitness. But with Darwin Núñez, huge question marks are over his head, whether if he continues at this rate, he should be sold in the summer. I will be honest, even though I'm one of his biggest fans, I absolutely love Darwin Núñez. His numbers and his output and his overall game is not at a level where you want a striker to be for a Champions League and Premier League contender team. You would want numbers close to what Diaz, Jota or Gakpo are putting out, but Darwin Núñez is at the moment, down in his numbers. So Marmoush could be his replacement, but Arsenal are also looking at the striker. Ian Wright, who is a big Arsenal fan and a pundit in England, said, "I would like people to have a look at Omar Marmoush at Frankfurt and Ademola Lookman at Atalanta." That's what Ian Wright said on a podcast. "I'm going hard on those two. Go and look at Marmoush at Frankfurt and what he's doing." And yes, his numbers are absolutely elite. And the big question is, how much would he actually cost? We already mentioned that between 40 and 50 million pounds. But German football expert Raphael Honigstein has shared how much we are now talking about in terms of Marmoush's actual valuation by Frankfurt. Honigstein, speaking on BBC Radio 5's podcast, he named Marmoush in the show's list of players you have heard of set for a big 2025, and he described Marmoush as a superstar in the American, and he said he would be a great buy for any team. He's a really dynamic wide forward who can play through the middle as well. Some people have compared him to Mo Salah already, perhaps not as tricky or as explosive, but his finishing is incredible. He came to Germany aged 18, and for 6 years we didn't think he would set the world alight, but this season he explodes, and now we are talking about potentially maybe 80 million euros for him, 67 million pounds. There is a big move ahead of him, and it's very unlikely Frankfurt will keep him beyond this summer, and he's going to be a superstar. He would be a great buy for any team, and there will be a lot of competition for him. And here you can see the statistic that players from the top 5 European leagues to be involved in the most goals following a ball carry in 2024 in all competitions, which means that after a great dribbling run, the player actually scoring. And Vinicius Junior is top, not surprisingly. Rafael Leao and Florian Wirtz joined second, and Marmoush is fourth with 14, alongside Lamine Yamal. So he's in a very illustrious group of players carrying the ball towards goal and then scoring from it, and that's a very great competition for Marmoush to be in. But I think 67 million pounds is overpriced for Marmoush. If Liverpool get into a bidding war with Arsenal, I see Liverpool maybe walking away from Marmoush. But the big question is, what do Liverpool do with Darwin Núñez? I think this is the last season for Darwin Núñez if he continues at this rate, if he doesn't improve his numbers. His overall approach play is pretty decent, but the problem is that his finishing hasn't improved, and he's now getting less chances than before because of how the team is set up. So that's why the numbers of Darwin Núñez is down low. And after 2.5 seasons, do we have to admit that Darwin Núñez is just not a great finisher, not a great at converting enough of his chances. Jota is finishing almost at the rate of Mo Salah. He's just playing a lot less games because of injuries. But Darwin Núñez is probably the worst finisher at the moment at Liverpool, maybe even worse than Gakpo or Diaz in terms of his XG, and his actual goals scored is much worse. And Arsenal are very, very interested. Dean James is reporting that Arsenal could jump to the front of the queue for Omar Marmoush because Liverpool are focusing on tying down Mo Salah to a new contract, of course. And Marmoush said, "What I can promise to the fans is that I will give my all for Eintracht in every game. I'm not thinking about the transfer. I'm living in the here and now and enjoying my time in Frankfurt." And here is the Bundesliga table. Frankfurt at the moment is in 3rd place, but they lost their last 2 games, and especially, the last one was very painful for Frankfurt. But as you can see, they are just 3 points above 9th place Freiburg. So because of these 2 losses, Frankfurt, who were previously, in the title race, now they are pretty much out of it, probably because Leverkusen made a great run, and now they cut the gap to just 4 points. behind Bayern Munich. But Frankfurt need to be careful not to drop too many points, because the league table is so close. I mean, 10th placed Stuttgart are just 4 points behind Frankfurt. So another 1 or 2 losses and they could find themselves in mid-table, weirdly. So Marmoush needs to, of course, fire Frankfurt to Champions League football. But there is no guarantee. Of course, Frankfurt wouldn't want to sell Marmoush in January, because then they would almost certainly be out of the Champions League race. They only have a chance because Marmoush is putting up these absolutely crazy high numbers. And the Bundesliga is a very fun league to watch. I really like watching their highlights, and I've been in awe of Marmoush scoring and assisting so many goals, and he has scored so many spectacular free kicks, individual goals. He can do anything. So let me know, do you think Liverpool should sell Darwin Núñez in the summer and bring in Marmoush? Right now, I think in January we need to focus on getting either a left back or a defensive midfielder. We already talked about that in the previous video. But let me know, what would you do with Darwin Núñez, and would you be okay with Marmoush as his replacement? I would be okay with it, but only for a 50-55 million. I think 65 million is too much for Marmoush, as good a player as he is. He only had 2 great seasons at Frankfurt. Apart from that, his numbers are pretty average. So is this just an outlier, this Marmoush season, or is this how his output is going to be going forward? That's very hard to judge at the moment, but that's why the Liverpool analysts are going to get paid a lot of money so they can answer these questions. Paul Joyce is, of course, reported what Arne Slot said in his press conference, that Joe Gomez is out for a few weeks, but today Konate and Conor Bradley are back in first team training. It will be in the afternoon, which is very good news. For Gomez, it looks like it's a pretty standard hamstring injury. He will be out for 2 or 3 weeks. So with some lucks, Gomez could be back for the League Cup semi-final at Anfield against Tottenham. But Konate being back in training is absolutely fantastic, because Gomez is out injured, and we don't really want to start with Van Dijk and Kwanzaa against Man United. Even though Man United are not a great team right now, they are still dangerous. They still have some dangerous attacking players, so we would want to have the best possible starting 11 for Liverpool. And there was an absolutely dumb, stupid question in the press conference. The first question, in fact, from a journalist, I don't know who it was. He said, with Man United being so bad this season, are you going to rest some players against Man United? And Arne Slot was like, what a silly question, what a strange question. Of course not. You can't rest players against Man United, no matter where they are in the league table. It's always a huge game, and Liverpool will go with their full best starting 11. Szoboszlai is well rested after missing the West Ham game with yellow cards accumulated. And he was also a substitute in the previous game against, I'm not sure who it was, but the most important thing for Liverpool is that we can go with our best starting 11. Hopefully Konate will be fit for the game. He still has today and tomorrow to train fully with the team. If he's not fully fit, don't risk him. Put Kwanzaa in, and maybe Konate can come on as a substitute. But yeah, Liverpool absolutely must beat Man United. This is the worst Man United side of the past 30 years. So there is absolutely no excuses. And last season, Liverpool went into the game on the back of a 7-0 drubbing, and we couldn't beat Man United. 3 times last season we played Man United. We couldn't beat them. We even got knocked out in the FA Cup by this awful Man United side. So Liverpool cannot take anything for granted against Man United, because that's always a very tricky game. We had something like 33 shots at Anfield against Man United, and it was a 0-0 draw. So Liverpool need to take their chances, but I'm confident because Salah, Diaz, Gakpo are in great form, and hopefully they will keep banging in the goals. So let me know, what do you think about this? How do you see the Liverpool-Man United game unfolding? And do you want Omar Marmoush to be the next Liverpool signing in the summer transfer window in terms of attackers? Let me know. And also there are reports coming that Chiesa is now very close to full fitness, and he will contribute in this crazily packed January period, because Liverpool have still 2 Champions League games, 2 League Cup semi-finals as well. The 2 Champions League games, we can rest some players there, but the 2 League Cup semi-finals, Liverpool will need to take seriously. And of course, we have the FA Cup against Accrington Stanley at Anfield. Probably we can rotate some players in that game. So now that Konate and Conor Bradley is back, it's great that now Joe Gomez is our only injury absentee. So hopefully Liverpool can go into this January fixture list with almost a fully fixed squad. And I would actually start Tsimikas against Man United because Robertson has been shaky in recent games. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what is yours in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. See you later, guys. Goodbye.